Whenever something's bothering you, I can always find you here.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 saddest Gossip Girl moments.
Charles, please. You need to be with your family.
My family? I don't have a family.
For this list, we'll be looking at the scenes that broke our hearts in the original show. Since this list contains a lot of different storylines, this is your official spoiler warning. Did we miss the moment that made your heart cry the most? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Blair makes Chuck hear her. Chuck and Blair notoriously love playing games with each other, but when it comes down to it, they share a genuine connection. At least, that's what Blair thought at the end of season 2.
Tell me you love me. And everything we've done, all the gossip and the lies and the hurt will have been for something.
After spending some time in an on-again, off-again relationship, both parties end up betraying the other by sleeping with someone else. But Blair thought all would be forgiven if she finally told Chuck those 3 little words.
You have to stay here and hear it this time. Chuck pass. I love you. I love you so much. It consumes me.
Unfortunately, he was not so quick to forgive. Thankfully, this break was only temporary, and the couple would eventually endure, but the scene was absolutely devastating at the time.
Tell me it was for something.
Maybe it was. But it's not anymore.
Number 9. Eric stands by Jenny. Jenny and Eric fit so perfectly in the sibling relationship that they never asked to be put into. They definitely fight and bicker like family. But when Jenny is really in need of support, Eric is often there for her.
Go away.
No. We may get mad at each other sometimes, but if you're really hurting, I'm here for you.
Initially, their friendship started out to fight the power-hungry queen that was Blair Waldorf. But after Blair leaves Constance, Jenny gets the crown and slowly turns into a vindictive mean girl. Her new mean streak drives a wedge between her and her stepbrother.
I'm still your sister. We just can't let the world get confused.
I'm not confused. I want nothing to do with you in either world.
After messing with Serena's relationship and sleeping with Chuck, Jay is at her lowest point. At least Eric is there for her for this dark moment.
Hey.
Don't touch me. Don't tell anyone.
Number 8. Dan and Serena finally talk. Through an elaborate plan of schemes and faking identities, Georgina Sparks exposed some of Serena's darkest secrets to her boyfriend Dan.
I just think too much has happened. I don't know how to make things go back to what they were.
So that's it then?
Although this plot broke them up, their fiery chemistry brought them back together at the start of the next season. Unfortunately, they never worked out the problems that split them up in the first place. The couple gets locked in an elevator going to a party and are forced to face their crumbling relationship.
I can't change who I am, Dan.
Me neither. So what happens now?
Serena and Dan brought out the best in each other. This was why many fans were gutted to see them fall apart during this episode.
When I step out of here, it's over.
I think it was already.
Number 7. Jenny leaves the Upper East Side. Rufus has always made sure to keep a tight-knit relationship with his kids. When Jenny started to turn rotten, he still fought to keep her on the right path.
I hope you're proud of yourself.
You know what I am? Because honestly, I achieved everything that I wanted.
Jenny, you can't just go through life not caring about who you hurt.
Even when she ruined the charity event that Lily hosted, he stood by her. But Jenny takes it a step too far when she tries to mess with both his relationship as well as Dan and Serena's.
Really? That's it? Dad, she believed you cheated. She was leaving with her ex-husband.
And you helped make that happen.
After Rufus finally sees her behavior as destructive to those around her, he and little Jay's mom Allison make a decision. Jenny has to move in with her mom.
It's a fresh start, somewhere without mean girls and drug-dealing boyfriends, and Gossip Girl.
Despite everything Jay has done, her goodbye to her family is nothing but heartfelt. Number 6. Chuck stands too close to the edge. Chuck puts on this facade that makes him seem like a heartless, uncaring person, but his father broke that facade. C had a tumultuous relationship with his father Bart, and when you found out how awful his dad was, it was hard to blame him.
Chuck, your father wouldn't have wanted this.
Your old dad. Fortunately, all I know is what he did a month. Which is me.
But the young Bass took it very hard when Bart died in season 2. At the funeral, Chuck is not even recognizable as the man who was all about girls, business, and always being best dressed.
Maybe we should have just left him at the palace.
It's his father's funeral. He needs to be here and show his respect.
Respect. Father wasn't show much of that in his final days.
While in mourning, he decides to throw a party at the club he bought. But in his sorrow, he ends up on the roof of the building, dangerously close to the edge. Watching Blair talk him down was almost too much to handle.
Don't you understand? I'll always be here. I don't want you going anywhere. I couldn't bear it. So whatever you want to do to yourself, please don't do that to me.
Number 5. Blair's royal wedding. Chuck and Blair, Blair and Chuck. Their names even sound like they're meant for each other.
Trust me, the last thing I wanted to do was show up today, but even your own mother seems to think we need to talk.
The it boy and the mean girl indulged in games with each other for years, even when they were broken up. But as they grew into adults, the stakes in the game grew also. A serious rift eventually formed between the two, and just when it seemed like B was getting her fairy tale ending on her own, C came back, and so did all of their passionate feelings for one another.
You told me you loved me. I know it was true.
It is. Of course I love you, Chuck. I've always loved you. I love you more and more every day, if it's even possible to love someone that much.
He showed up on her wedding day to tell her not to marry a literal prince, and she turns him down. We still get chills watching this extremely emotional scene.
Just know that not living with you is the hardest thing I've ever done. But at least I have someone who loves me by my side. You should find someone who loves you too.
Number 4. Chuck couldn't make Blair happy. As an audience, it can sometimes be agonizing to watch Chuck and Blair pretend like they're not absolutely perfect for each other.
Last fall, you said we couldn't be together. And I believed you. But every time I try to move on, you're right there.
C had a really rough year throughout the second season of the show, and B stood by him for the good and especially for the bad. But when Nate wants Blair, she has to give Chuck an ultimatum. And he turns her down this time around.
It's just a game. I hate to lose. You're free to go.
It's hard to watch Blair's heart shatter. To make matters more emotional, we learn that Chuck didn't even mean his cruel words in the very next scene. He just loved her so much that he wanted her to have someone better than himself.
Chuck, why did you just do that?
Because I love her. And I can't make her happy.
Number 3. Blair's miscarriage. After much suspicion, we finally learn that Blair really is pregnant.
You're pregnant.
In the wake of her and Louis revealing they're expecting, a ton of drama unfolds. At the same time, she comes to terms about how she feels about Chuck.
I couldn't tell Louis that he would never lose me because it wasn't true. You're the one I never want to leave.
But everything takes a dark turn when the two get into a car crash. While Chuck is severely wounded, Blair loses her baby. This tragedy encourages B to keep her distance from him in order to keep them both safe.
If you exist, let him live. I'll do anything. I promise I'll keep my vow to marry Louis and never be with him again.
Watching Blair lose the most important things in her life is absolutely soul-crushing. Number 2. Blair's letter to Serena. Before there was Chuck and Blair, there was Blair and Serena.
Dear Serena, my world is falling apart, and you're the only one who would understand.
Their lifelong friendship was also full of ups and downs, but one of the lowest points came when Serena left Manhattan. When she returns, she sees Blair trying to tear her friend down. Eventually, B decides it's time for the truth and reads S the letter she wrote for her but never sent.
You're gone. My dad's gone. Nate's acting weird. Where are you? Why don't you call?
It makes for a raw and emotional experience. We finally get to see what's behind B's mean girl armor. Seeing how sad Blair is and how rough her family and friendships have been definitely makes us feel bad for her.
You knew, Serena. And you didn't even call.
I didn't know what to say to you, or even how to be your friend after what I did.
Before we unveil our most heart-wrenching #1 pick, here are some honorable mentions. Eric sets Blair straight. Blair accuses Serena of being in rehab, but Eric tells her he was the patient.
Eric, I didn't...
See that coming? Yeah. Well, it must be a shock for someone who thinks she knows everything.
Serena stands up for herself. Dan tries to fight for Serena, but she tells him she doesn't belong there.
I've made mistakes. I've made massive, heartbreaking mistakes. But I've never stopped loving you.
Oh, excuse me if I don't fall for that, or you ever again.
Serena opens up about her father. He left for a business trip and never came back.
Not knowing you is your father's loss.
Maybe, but I just can't seem to let it go. I keep leaving him messages and writing letters to addresses I'm not even sure are his.
You miss him.
Nate has his dad arrested. His father truly crossed a line.
Is everything all right?
I said everything's fine.
I'm not asking you.
Sorry, Dad, but you need help. Check his pockets while you're at it.
Serena tells off her dad. Her dad wants to know his other daughter, and she tells him how she feels about it.
All I ever wanted my whole life was a father, and all you ever did was avoid me. And then now when you find out about Lola, you just rush to be by her side. Well, you broke my mom's heart, and now you just broke mine.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. #1. Blair tells Chuck how much he hurt her. Chuck was willing to have Blair be with Jack for a hotel. That definitely bears repeating. Chuck would have let Blair, someone who truly loved him, sleep with another man for a hotel.
What are you talking about? Chuck doesn't know anything about this.
Really? Because it seems to me he knew exactly which buttons to have me push. Said you wouldn't be able to resist stepping in to save him behind his back.
This horrendous moment of lapsed judgment was made worse by the fact that Chuck orchestrated it. Although he tries to defend himself, Blair lets her emotions out.
I can't let my feelings cost me all that I've built.
Even if it means losing me instead. All I ever did was love you.
Chuck has done a lot of horrible things to Blair in the name of their game, but he truly outdid himself with this betrayal. In the end, he does grow from the mistake and redeem himself with his one true love, but this depressing scene still sticks with us.
You said you would stand by me through anything. This Blair is anything.
I thought that the worst thing you would ever do would be to me.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.